Over our 7 years in business, we have a 100% client retention rate at Nautix. I want to tell you how we do it and how you can do it too. In any sort of transaction, there are two fundamental values that a prospect, customer, or a client will be weighing in their mind. This is cost and perceived value. Cost is what the other party has to pay to get the things that you're offering. Now, interestingly, pay doesn't always mean money. Cost can also include time, attention, risk, or effort. Perceived value is the worth that they assign to the outcome you provide. This is usually expressed in dollars, but it's driven by the belief, confidence, and clarity they place in you, not your internal pricing model. This is a very important distinction to make. Your prospect, customer, or client is constantly playing a checks and balance game in their mind with these two values. And you, of course, always want to win that game. So here's how. Imagine that you have a line chart with cost on the x-axis and a value on the y-axis. Draw a line at a 45-degree angle or at a slope of x equals y if you want to go back to high school math. Anything above this line, that is very awesome. That is exactly where you want to be in the eyes of your prospect. Anything on the line, not super awesome. You don't really want to be here. Anything below the line, very not awesome. You definitely don't want to be here. Let's expand on these. First, cost is low and value is high. This is exactly where you want to be. When your prospect feels like they are getting more than they are paying for, the only reason that they have to churn is something like a financial issue or if there's no longer a need. When you're in this area, this is how you keep customers forever. Next, we have when the cost a client is paying equals the value that they are getting. Now, you might think that this is a good place to be, but in my opinion, this is actually a very dangerous position to be. When your prospect feels that they are getting what they pay for, this is good, but it opens up the opportunity for them to constantly reevaluate their options. Like we said earlier, your client is always playing that checks and balances game. If another offer comes along that offers a little bit lower cost or a little bit more value, you're primed to lose this opportunity. Lastly, we have cost is high and value is low. This is obviously where you don't want to be. When your prospect, client, or customer is in this area, they feel like they are not getting what they pay for. This is obviously a very bad spot. There is no reason for anyone to pay more than what they feel like they are getting. This is an opportunity for you to lose that customer. So, how do we operationalize this? How do we put this into practice? We do this by systematically increasing the perceived value while simultaneously reducing total cost. Not just price, but every form of friction that the client experiences. First, and most importantly, make value explicit and not implicit. Implicit is implied value. Explicit value is concrete. It's clearly and demonstrably explained. Most businesses deliver value but fail to surface it clearly. Key point, we are talking about perceived value here. Lots of businesses provide lots of value, but they fail to articulate it. Therefore, the perceived value in the eyes of the prospect is low, which is obviously not good. Perceived value increases when outcomes are named before the engagement starts, measured during the engagement, and restated after they are delivered. Operationally, this means defining success in the client's language, not yours. Regularly reminding clients what problems no longer exist because of your work, and translating effort into outcomes. For example, time saved, risk avoided, revenue protected, or created. If clients have to infer value on their own, the perceived value drops. Even if the results are strong, you're effectively losing control here. Second, work on reducing non-monetary costs aggressively. These are costs that the client experiences. Lowering price is the weakest way to move the cost axis. Reducing friction is actually far more durable. This can look like many things: faster onboarding, fewer meetings with clearer agendas, proactive communication instead of reactive updates, clear ownership so the client does not have to manage you. Every time you remove effort, uncertainty, or delay, You lower your perceived cost to the client without touching your actual price. Clients often churn not because of what they paid, but because of what they had to deal with. Lastly, you need to re-win this value equation constantly. This is not a one-shot effort. Like we said, customers are constantly playing that checks and balance game. For us at Nautix, this last point really boils down to one simple frame. We treat renewals and ongoing work with the same intentionality as new business. It's exhausting and it's hard, but whenever you run into something hard, you can always tell yourself, this is where everyone else stops, and that's why you'll win. At Nautix, our ethos is that we always need to deliver more value than what our clients are paying, or what our prospects are thinking about paying. And it's worked out pretty well so far. So what's the takeaway here? Always deliver more value than you're charging, or always charge less than what you're delivering. Pick which one you like more, they're the exact same.